Hey guys, and I also wanted to talk about. So, I've been doing a lot of just research, studying, reading, looking on YouTube. Looking at preachers on the internet, and actually one really, really famous preacher that just died in 2018 that I actually never heard until I started doing this research was Billy Graham. If those of you who don't know who Billy Graham is, please look him up. I've watched many of his YouTube preachings, and this man was and is still a legend. I mean, he preached to. So he just died in 2018. He preached to the largest crowds in the world, in the history of the world. That's how famous he was. But that's how holy and righteous he was. That's how about the gospel he was all about. That's what he was all about, was the gospel, right? Billy Graham. Very powerful, motivating speaker, preacher, and he traveled all across the world to preach to people. Anyways, sorry, I got a message on my phone. What I've noticed in my research and looking at people preaching and good versus evil, and the believers against the non-believers, it is a full-out war, guys. And it's right in our backyard. Today, we're living in a full-blown war for God. Okay? I mean, you should see the videos on YouTube. Okay? This is a full-blown war between good versus evil, between believers and non-believers. And we're living in these days. It's crazy. I would love for you guys to research this. It blew my mind how much of a war. Now, I'm not talking about swords, guns, and pistols and killing and all that. I'm talking about a spiritual and verbal war for Christ. This is serious, guys. We're here. This is a war. And the Bible talks about putting the whole armor of God and facing your enemy. I'm just saying, it shocked me when my eyes were open on how big this situation is. And the situation is knowing and loving Christ and bringing that to other people that don't know him. Billy Hope, I keep saying Billy Hope, I don't know. Billy Graham, he went to, I think, Islam back in like 1990 something or 1980 something, and he talked to like the president or the high priest or whatever in Islam back then, and face to face. I don't know what they talked about, but so the head of the Islam was like, "Hey, Billy, I would love for you to convert to my religion. That would make me happy." And Billy Graham looked at him and said, "I would love for you to convert to Christianity." And he gave him a Bible. But I mean, like, this is a full-blown war, guys, between good and evil, and believers and non-believers. Okay? It blew my mind. If you don't believe me, do your own research. You don't have to believe me. Do your own research. This is serious, man. I just thought I would share that about how real this battle for God is. Okay? And yes, it's spiritual between demons and angels, but it is among us, human beings as well. Okay? The battle is real between believers and non-believers. We are going at it. As a believer, Jesus said, "If the world hates you, just know that the world hated me first." I read that in the book of John. And honestly, I haven't read the whole Bible yet, so I don't know. But for right now, that's my favorite verse. That verse is keep playing in my head. You know, every time I want to be Christ, every time I see someone that's hurting or whatever, every time I go out, you know, yeah, sure, the fear of hatred, right, from your peers is always going to be there. You know, and yeah, I'm struggling with that. But I keep that verse in my head. Jesus said, if the world hates you for believing in Jesus, just know that the world hated me first. That's powerful, guys. That is very powerful. Okay? So I just want to leave you guys off with that. We're in a war. Put on the whole armor of God, and let's go to battle.